he codes in his sleep.
Some say he doesn't eat meat because it slows him down.
Some say he drives a Volvo.
We just call him Paul.
Oh, it's supposed to be a secret.
Later in the show, Tom drives the new NAV 2.018.
And Ian will be putting the new diesel 3.65 through its paces round our test track.
But first, a chav in a reasonably priced NAV.
Vicky, have you done the payroll yet?
What? But no. I tried to do the journal, but the journal didn't post. So I tried to do the workflow, but the workflow came back and was like, but no. And then, but anyway, did you hear about Matt Dredge? He's running back on the bike, says snogging Nora. Apparently got her pregnant. I was like, how can that happen? She's not even real.
But have you done it?
The fun we have. So we've been busy too. Microsoft are busy, and we've been busy little beavers. We're going to canter through this session. My friend and colleague Paul Cartwright, the guy in the secret, the Stig as we like to call him, we're going to talk about panels and tiles.
Okie doke. So we're looking at the new version of NAV 2018, and obviously this is now enhanced 365. So for those of you that have been to these sessions before, you'd have seen that we have panels and tiles, which is the ability to add and manipulate your tiles on your dashboard that suit you rather than going to a developer and asking them to do it for you. So we still have that very same mechanism, but really we focused on simplicity. So here, if we look, I've got my sales overview panel, and instead of having to go to a setup behind the screens to change things, I can simply click on the option and go into a design mode. This just cleans things up a bit. We've got a nice new tile option and a new link option. We can still drag things around, but we're very clearly in the design section now rather than just normal use. A couple extra features in tiles. So when I click on new tile, I get a new screen. We've just, again, tidied this up a bit, taken some of the names away, the fields, and just renamed things to make a bit more sense. So my example is going to be a tile giving me the stock value. So that's my label. I'm going to click on the value and work out how to calculate my current stock value. So I'm a totaling maths. So I want to go and sum up some numbers. My table is the value entries. And I'm going to pick my field name as cost amount actual. Now you could pick that from the list as you ever could. The addition here is this option of company name. So one of the big feedbacks we had was it's really great that I can have all these companies in NAV and I've got this nice dashboard, but I have to keep logging into all these places to see information from my other companies. So with tiles, you can now choose which company you want that number to be calculated in, and it'll automatically do that for you. So I'm going to pick a different company, close off my tile. I could obviously pick colors and images and changings of colors based on values, but I've now got my stock value tile calculating from a different place. So it's really easy to add multi-company tiles. The second big thing we did on tiles is panels and tiles are great on the role center, but you have to keep coming back to them to see the information. Now, much like what Microsoft have done with Power BI, we thought it'd be nice if tiles could be put in context of what you're doing. So if I drill down to my items in stock, on the right-hand side of the screen, on the fact box area, we've now got this panel viewer. Tom pointed at this in the Outlook client. So this is available through all the clients in NAV, be it the web client, Windows client, or even within Outlook. And because it's a panel, as I select my different records, it recalculates, but I can also edit the tiles. So I click on design mode, and I'm back into what I was doing before. This time I'm going to put a new tile on. Again, let's do a stock value, but this time for this particular item, so I'm going to say the stock value, and I want to, again, sum up all the value entries. I want to pick the cost amount actual. I could do this for multiple companies. And I just need to apply a filter here. My filter is to say I want it where the item number is whichever item I'm looking at. So the context is the important point here. Click on field, and here I get a bunch of fields I can filter on. The important one I'm looking for is related item number. Click on OK. A couple of times I close this. And once I get back, I get my stock value field that is now true for the particular record I'm on as I drill through the list. So it's really quick and easy to put tiles where you need them, not just on the role center.
Hello, yeah. So, simplicity, multi-company, and on a fact box. Lovely little features. We've also had a file attachment mechanism in NAV for some time. We've also spent a little bit of time giving that a little bit of a refresh.
Okie doke. Back into NAV. So file attachments, as Ian says, we've had this for some time, the ability to attach files to any record in NAV, not just a few selected places. So if I go and pick a sales order, I've actually got a file that someone sent in, someone I know, hopefully, which is an order document, just a PDF, a purchase order from a customer. It relates to a particular sales order. So I'm going to go into NAV. I'm going to find that sales order. What's my number? 104006. I drill down, and it's not there. We'll put it on here. And I can then attach it to this other one. We've wrote the wrong sales order. Simply by clicking on New. And again, simplicity. We just pick our files. I'll go and pick my order document. Attach that. And again, this is the point of simplicity. We've taken away a lot of the clutter on this screen. It's now a simple screen. What sort of file is it? You can define your own, but this one's an order. Give it a description. And obviously, if you're looking at our GDPR sessions later today, you'll notice we have the flag for whether this is relevant for GDPR, which feeds into our mechanisms. The other thing that's worth pointing out on here is the storage type. A long requested feature we've had for file attachments is to be able to store those files on SharePoint. So today, you can store them in the NAV database or on a file server. Going forwards, you can choose which document library I want to store this file in SharePoint. And then as far as you're concerned, from a user point of view in NAV, it doesn't matter where it is, but it's available in SharePoint. If I then delete it from NAV, it deletes it from SharePoint. That's all integrated together. So that's going to upload my file to SharePoint and store it against this order. The last final piece of file attachments, the final new piece, is if I actually go and look at this customer record, I can see here that I've got two attachments. So I've got a price request they sent in and a contract. But what I want to see is all the other things we have related to them. So if I click on the list, I can now see that I've got not just the two documents directly attached, but all the documents attached to related orders and related quotes and credit memos. So this makes a really nice navigation system to be able to go and find the document without having to drill through into NAV to find the particular sales order. And obviously from here, I can either download the file to open it from whatever device I'm on, or show the record to go to that particular document in NAV. Yeah, we're done.
Thank you. So, same thing, simplicity, cross-system master record linking, and Office 365 SharePoint integration. Again, we've had electronic forms for some time. Electronic forms are an Excel spreadsheet you create, you give it some mapping, and using that mapping, it'll automatically update information inside NAV. That's been a beautiful system for many years, but we thought we'd make it a little bit simpler and give it a little bit more security. So Paul will quickly run through that now.
Sprint. Okie doke. NForms. If those of you who haven't seen these before, the idea is you can write an Excel document that NAV knows how to interpret and import into its system without writing code or doing anything complicated, no macros or things like that. It's a very classic NForm example. The big thing we've done is behind the scenes, and I've got a session this afternoon for those of you who want to delve into this, we've simplified and optimized the background sheet, that NAV option sheet, the definition. We've done a lot of work there to make it a bit more sensible, but easier to understand, and hopefully save some hours that people have spent setting those things up. So we've made it easier to create them, but it's still the same fundamental Excel document. So now, the extra option we've added is the idea of uploading and registering an NForm. It used to be that you defined everything about an NForm in the document itself. NAV didn't really have a setup for it. But now if I go to my NForm and register it, what this has done is created a registration record in NAV. This acts as both the definition, so that if someone sends in another NForm that looks the same but's got slightly tweaks, it will reject it. So if people try and change some values, they'll reject it. It also acts as just your security point, so you can make sure that, again, no one's changing things and permissions can be applied to this level. But this is just reading in that document and taking the definition. Lastly, when I upload and process my NForm, much as it ever did before, I can either do this by dragging and dropping, or by emailing this in, or by attaching it as a file. I can simply pick the document, NAV will go away, and quickly, Notice the speed performance here. So we've done a lot of work on performance on these. I'll import that document and create my appropriate record in NAV.
That was amazingly fast, both importing the file and demonstrating. Simplicity, security, reliability, and speed of import. Those were things we targeted and achieved. Email marketing, again, very briefly, so there's a session this afternoon on CRM. Basically, we have added to NAV the ability to integrate to a third-party email tool. NAV CRM is a great CRM tool, but the bit it's missed is an easy way to do lots of emailing to a load of customers and nicely. And that's what we have solved, and we will talk about it this afternoon in the CRM session.
Quick demo.
Just show very briefly.
Okay, we'll run
What
through
we're
this
doing.
one. So the software we've integrated to is called .mailer. It's a web service. It's a really, really great tool for sending out huge, good-looking mail shots and capturing all the results, the click-throughs, who didn't open it, subscriptions, unsubscribes, all those sorts of things that, to be honest, NAV isn't particularly strong with. So it's a really great tool to make good-looking emails, but what we want to do is leverage the power of NAV and what NAV knows about your contacts and your customers to decide who to send the emails to. So if I jump into NAV, we'll use the normal NAV CRM segment tool. This segmenting tool, for those who haven't played with it before, is pretty powerful. I'm going to make a Christmas promo segment. I'm going to be the person responsible for this, and I'm going to say the interaction, I'm going to email them, because otherwise it would be a weird demo. So I'm going to add some context to this, and this is really the power of segments in NAV, is you can use everything NAV knows about your contacts and customers to decide who, to make this list of people. Now, because I'm making a mailing list, the first thing I'm going to do is only find people that have email addresses. It seems sensible. And I could obviously filter on various other pieces of information. The one I'm going to focus on is items. I want to send this to people that have bought our winter range of products. So I'm going to filter to say only people that have bought things ending in -W. Now we'll then go away, build my segment. Those are all the people that I've sent those things to. The addition here is this use with .mailer campaign option. If I click on this, what it's going to do is automatically log into .mailer for me using my account, and it's going to create an address book in .mailer. That's the way .mailer groups together contacts. And it's then going to show me a list of all my unsent campaigns in .mailer. So here's my Christmas promo. I click on OK, and that's now going to take me straight into the .mailer application, and it says, here it is. Which address book would you like to use? I'd like to use the one I've just created, please. That's brought in the contacts I got from NAV. I can continue. And now it just takes me to the final couple of steps of actually sending my beautiful Christmas 15% off campaign, if I verify my accounts. That'll then send away. And once we've done that, we can go back into NAV and see the results. So we can see from the campaign all the click-throughs, all the contacts have been sent, all that data is captured on an ongoing basis. So it's just either an automatic or manual refresh to grab that information and report on it in NAV, which makes it available to tools like Jet and Power BI.
Beautiful. So I think that's a really nice, simple add-on. It gives you very quick and easy access to a great e-marketing tool. And to put it in context, Microsoft are coming out with this Microsoft Marketing next year, spring next year, springish, Klaus? Sometime, should we say summer? Let's say summer. Summer next year. It's not a dissimilar thing. Microsoft Marketing will be a similar thing. Build a campaign, create an email template, and then get some stuff sent to customers. But NAV is the place that knows who bought what from you. So NAV's the place that uses the source of data. Okay, we're now going to talk a little bit about order management. There's lots of standard processes in NAV that could do with some treatment, and we've given them some of those treatments because we've changed these a lot for customers over the years. This is about getting orders in from a website, potentially, or orders in from other mechanism, and we call that enhanced ecom. We've got an API which we can publish, which enables you to push data orders into NAV, and then we've got a payment gateway that we can use to integrate to WorldPay, Adyen, who are here today, CyberSource, for managing your credit card payments. We've finally, once and for all, solved the stock allocation, the back ordering, checking stock before we send it to a warehouse, and so on. So we're just going to show you that. So it'll presumably be quite familiar to you as a flow. In terms of orders come into NAV, they get converted, they have to get sent to the warehouse, and we simply streamline that process.
So for the purpose of this, I'm going to process a flat file. I'm going to assume I've got a file I've downloaded from my web app, my websites, or from somewhere else. So what we've added is a piece of functionality called sales worksheets. If I go into here and create a new worksheet, I'm going to create a simple worksheet and import my file. Now this could be automatic, but it seems sensible to show it to you. So I'm going to import my flat file. This could be Excel or CSV or whatever it may be. What this does is takes those lines and verifies them. So it works out if there's any problems. If there are, it'll mark them as errored, and you can handle them within NAV, or it can push them backwards. So here I've got my lines, and really easily I've got a Create Documents button. Again, this would usually be automated. You'd have a file being picked up by the system, and the document's automatically created when it appears. So that created 27 documents. So what can we do with those? We've added another screen called shipping status, because what I really want to do is get those things out of the door if possible. And there's little fuss and little human interactions I need. So here I'm going to go and find all the orders that have come into my purple warehouse, because that's the warehouse I work in today. And I can see all the web orders I've just brought in. Now, if I very simply select all these, as the system could do automatically, and press Send to Warehouse, we're applying some logic here. The first test we're doing is, do you have the finances for that order to send into the warehouse? For example, have the payments come in? Secondly, we're looking at the stock. Do you have the stock to fulfill that order? If all those criteria are met, and there's more of them, the orders are marked as ready to ship, and if I go to the warehouse shipments, it sends it to the warehouse. So that step from dropping the file in all the way to this point could require no human interaction, just applying some automation and some logic to create warehouse shipments to get the goods out of the door that can be sent where appropriate. However, Mr. Ingram here has a problem. He raised an order for 2 items, one of which we have stock of, one of which we don't. Now, because of the setup to say we allow back orders, what we've done is actually created a back order in NAV, something NAV doesn't have by default. The issue is then, how do I group these things back together? And for that, we have this idea of a buying reference. The buying reference is a document that shows the customer's transaction and everything that happened to it. So I can see here, he placed an order, it was split into 2 sales orders. One with one line, one with the other. I get a -1 to see it's a back order, it's linked. I can see the warehouse shipments being created, I can see payments, so I can see payments being taken, and I can even drill down and see the actual card captures, all those things from this single screen. Similarly, if I had to return some goods or raise a credit, that would also go against the same buying reference to make that the one true definition of what happened for that transaction with that customer. And beyond that, that's the end of it.
Beautiful. So hopefully you'll see again, part of this thing about putting logic in the system and letting as much as possible flow through the system. We've demonstrated it on the screen because it would look really poor if we just waited for that process to kick in and run and send the orders to the warehouse and so on. But that's a completely automatable process.